Hi, welcome to the GF channel. Today's episode I'm finishing something it's been in development for over a year now, and it's the automatic daytime running lights and headlight switching. I'm doing that on my 626 GF and also on the little monster greenie there, my wife's Mazda 2 DE. On the 626 I'll be a little bit faster, a lot faster actually, because I already have a video about adding this switch here and making it turn on the daytime running lights manually when you're on auto position, so it's not turning on and off the headlights automatically, but at least when you're on auto, you're on daytime running lights. When you go on in a tunnel, we have to manually do that. I'm fixing that now. So I have checked the video for everything else for the 626. I'll be quick on the 626 and then as detailed as possible there. Still, the video will be long since it's two cars and I'm actually going to demonstrate the features of the module. The idea was this module not only to be open source, open hardware, which you can check, but I wanted it to be able, the driver to be able to configure it without a computer. So without a computer, you can do a few parameters. Let me now set up for demonstration. And I'll show you how you go to this service procedure of the module and what parameters you can actually tweak. Okay, the scary service procedure. It looks scary, but it's actually quite simple. You have simple paths that you have to follow. The only thing you need to know is you cannot jump. For instance, if you're in parameter 10, you cannot go to parameter 3. By default, you go to parameter 1 when you enter the procedure, and from there you do one of these, hold, tap or unlock, and you go into the separate paths. Now, for this purpose, for this demonstration, I'm going to actually change the default of the parameter 7, which is the type of the coming home. The default is value 3, which you can see in the documentation. Value 3 is the default. There is value 4, value 1 and value 2. So I'm going to change it to value 4. Reason being, currently, let me close this. We do not need it anymore. Sorry about the car, it's a mess. It's a project car after all. Currently, when you unlock the car and it's dark outside, it turns on the headlights, which if there's somebody standing in front of the car, it's not cool. You can blind him. Also, automatically, when you're on ignition and you turn off the ignition, because it's dark outside, there's the sensor here, because it's dark outside, even though it's in the garage, my settings are for this is dark, it automatically turns them on. I want to keep that turning on automatic when it's dark, but I would like for the unlocking part not to be automatic. We can do that. I have support for it. So let's go to the service procedure and make it happen. For that you need two hands. First thing you need to do is turn off the auto. Then this needs to be not on ignition. And it's a good idea to open the door so you also have beeping, not only blinking. What you need to do, turn the ignition to on, then to off, and then auto on and auto off. Repeat that 3 times. So let's go. 1, 2, 3. And the car now responds with 1 beep, which means get out of the car to look at the outputs. The outputs shows the TNS, then shows the headlights, and then shows the daytime running lights. Then you go back into the car, beeps 1 long because it's version 1. If there's a minor one, it will be short ones also. 1 long to tell you it's parameter 1. And short, long, short, that is a pattern for all parameters, which means value hasn't changed from the default. We do not care of parameter 1, although this will be the most important one when you're actually installing the module. we want to go into parameter 7. For that, you unlock the car, either this, you click this, or lock and unlock the door. Now it blinks and beeps 7 long times, because this is parameter 7. Then the value. Again, we have short, long, short, because that's the default. I want it at 4. Tap once and you go at 4. If you want it at 1, you can tap again, and that's 1, because after 4 there is no 5, it goes to 1, and it, as you can see, it's two long times. Long means less, 2 times less than the default. The default is 3 minus 2 means 1. So let's go back to 4. Instead of tapping back, I'm going to reverse the from increment to decrement. So hold it a little bit and then go back to off, and now it says short, then long. That means now we are going down. Down from 1, there's no 0, we go back to 4. 1 short beep. Short means more than the default, and it's 1 more than default. Default is 3, 3 plus 1 equals 4. So the value of parameter 7 is now 4. We can save. Or you can go out if you would like. You go out, you go to the parameter 1, and parameter 1 is at the default value as you can see. Now to save, you turn the ignition to on and auto to on, and wait until it blip. It's actually only going to blink, because when you're on ignition it doesn't beep. And that's it. At that point, if you can see, if I turn off the ignition, it turns on the headlights because it's dark outside. But the unlocking of the car is not actually going to, if we of course wait a little bit, because this needs to go out. Maybe I should have made it less. It's 30 seconds. You can adjust that as well. You can adjust 10 parameters, pretty much a lot of things you can adjust. Read in the documentation. Now it's off. Now I unlock once, nothing happens. I unlock second time, and voila. Okay, so this is the schematics, current schematics. As you can see, we need few signals: constant 12 volts, ground, ignition wire, door lock, TNS, low beam, coil of the DRL, and the auto position pin. So most of those you can find on this connector. You can find the ground here. That's thick cable. Let me turn on the torch. My battery is not happy anymore. Lots of filming today. So the black one is the constant ground. Then this wire right here, if you have followed the previous episode, was one wire. You need to cut it. The one that goes into the connector is for the pin of the DRL of the auto, and the one that goes towards there is going to the coil of the DRL. So these two signals you need, and then those two, the red with white and then these brown ones, are for the TNS and the low beams. The TNS, let's see now, headlight. The TNS is the brown one, and the low are red with it's not visible, sorry. Red with white is the headlight, the low beams, and TNS is the brown. So this covers half of the wires required. The module, as you can see, is actually here. It sits here happily. Next, what you need is the door signal. I have disconnected from here this connector from the biggest thing, the silver thing here. That's door lock timer unit, and from it you need this red cable. It's already been spliced by the alarm, and I'm actually reusing the splice. to grab another signal from it. That's the unlock signal. The constant power I grabbed from this connector, which is from only being used to power on the dome lights, which are now out because time has passed. You could also use this as a ground if you would like, if you do not want to pull from here. And now the ignition wire. The ignition wire, it's an interesting. This car came actually with already pre-installed module that had, after you turn on the engine, it measured the voltage and it turned on automatically the headlights. So I used some of the installation, which means I already had ignition here. But let's see, ignition is black wire with yellow. Yes, this one. You can find it all over the car. This one. That wire you can cut to get, it's black with yellow. This is ignition wire. So grab this one and you're going to have the ignition. So let's recheck. Did I show you everything? I showed you ignition, I showed unlock, TNS low, I showed the DRL, I showed, and the auto position I showed, then these two I showed. So everything is shown. What I haven't shown is where the sensor is. Sensor is here. Let me try to probably remove it, or as you can see, I have done it like that. I use this is from the instrument cluster right there, and I used one LED from China, removed the LED and actually placed this. This makes it perfectly removable afterwards, because you can remove the sensor, you can also remove the cable, you can remove everything. And these are 10 wires needed, 8 signals and 2 wires to go to this thing. And that's how you wire your 626. Now let's go to the Mazda 2, because we have lots of work there. It doesn't have anything on it. Okay, let's start the work on the Mazda 2. Now, I have already disassembled here. This is where the main area will be, where we are going to work. To go to that position, you need to remove first the glove box. The glove box is easy to remove. Squeeze with one hand here and the other hand here while opened, and these pins will, when you squeeze, will go inside and allow you to actually, the whole thing will fall and you just get it out. Then that's the floor. This is being held by like that here, so you squeeze those here and it falls off. You need to remove it. Now this side I'm not quite sure, is it going to be needed to be removed? Everything should be available from the BCM, but in case you need to remove it, it's a little bit more complicated. You need to lift this thing. There is this cap here, threaded cap right here, that goes from here, from this side. Remove the threaded thing, pull here, pull your sealing, because these go under the sealing and this will fall off. And with that, you're ready to start. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to show you, is how to pull the cable that is going to drive the daytime running lights, because that's what's missing on this car. Okay, pulling the cable through. Now you can use this one. I use a longer version of it just for the video, but these are not that common, because these are from collapsible storage container for kids toys. Well, this one This one is from a wiper blade, not this type, the classic type. Each wiper has two of these, so you can easily grab it and it's enough. I'm using the longer one just to show you for the video. It's easier to be visible because the shorter one will be somewhere behind that. So where do you get the cable from? Now this might be noisy, but I have to put the camera inside here so I can... Okay, that's the hole right there. As you can see, there's another cable coming from there. That's for the bonnet lock from the alarm system, and for the sound, of course, of the alarm system, which I haven't made myself, but it should be quite easy. This white thingy is actually peelable. You can peel it off and make a hole, and that's where it comes out. That's the metal part. Now just use some tape the cable to here, pull it from the other side, and you're done with the cable. What I'm planning to do here though, I'm planning to pull cable like that for this one, and the other cable will go like that for this one. On the 6-to-6 I actually pulled it because the cables there, as I said, are from the factory coming to one side, and from one side, the factory cable, to the other side, I actually pulled it like that. But that is a problem if you're going to change something here, let's say radiator. Not good. So this time, this is again from a 6-to-6 cable, and that's for the Turing computer of the 6-to-6. This time I'm going to use it. It has factory split, so the idea is to pull it there, and I have a factory split within the engine compartment for the two sides. Okay, choice for light bulb is this one. A very high quality bulb, I like it, from AliExpress. What I don't like it is the way they did the hyper flash problem. No resistor is required, because you see all of those orange ones, these are actually yellow ones, and the yellow ones at the bottom are white ones. So there are shitload of yellow LEDs, and they draw a lot of power, and they're bright as hell. That's what I don't like. The good thing is, even though the white ones are little, they are quite powerful. So it's good light bulb in the end. So how did I chose the socket? Well, this was I already was changing these, so I removed the stop light. I removed it and I saw this one. Of course, it's a the two-wire version. So I decided, okay, so this car uses the 7440, I believe, socket, and I chose this one, and I bought same socket but with 3 wires. It's not same because the locking mechanism for this is kind of ellipse, kind of like a rotary engine, while this one is a regular one, so this will not fit in the place of this, but nonetheless I received them. So then I came here. Let me turn on the torch. Okay, I came here, and what do I see? Different socket. Oh man, I was unpleasantly surprised. Very well done, Mazda. For all Mazda 2 owners, now you need to carry spares of this type and of this type for the turn lights. Not very smart at all. Anyhow, This is bigger diameter than this. Fortunately, I have these, which are the same as these, but for two lights. Because of the GF right there, the 626, it actually uses this standard. Problem though, this one, as you can see, above the ceiling, there is quite a lot of space until the locking pin. Quite a lot of space. While if you look at this, there is almost no space until the locking pin. Also, this extends quite a lot, while this doesn't. I believe I'm going to have issues with this one. So I decided, since this is a bigger diameter than this one, and if I use this one, I'll be able to exchange light bulbs. So if something burns out and I have a spare, I'll need only one spare, because the standard is the same. Even though this has 3 wires, if you place a regular bulb like this one, it is going to blink. Even with the 3 wires, just the third one won't be used. So one spare would be enough, which should be the case in the first place, but well, Mazda, probably Ford anyhow. So I'm going to use this one with an adapter. That's the adapter. I didn't do a good job, I'm going to do a new one. So you fit in the adapter here, and it even has a little play, as you can see. I'm going to initially try to tape it with this one. It's a double-sided tape, mounting tape, quite strong when there is enough surface. Here there is not enough surface, I believe, but I'm going to try nonetheless. If it doesn't work, there's quite a lot of surface for a regular glue, quite a lot. I'm going to just slap regular glue and glue this. Now for the electrical part, on the GF there, I actually, what I did is I used an adapter. So a socket which looks like a bulb, but instead of a bulb it has 2 cables. You plug it in, twist it in the place of the bulb, and you get 2 cables. And then those 2 cables you connect to these 2 cables. It, in theory, perfect. But I have issues there with condensation. Even though this is sealed off, I did seal it off, it condenses and makes problems. So this time around I'm going to cut the insulation here. I'm going to cut it and splice into the cables. I'm not going to cut off this one, just splice into the cables at first, and if there are problems I'm going to then remove it. That's the plan, splice into the cables directly with this thing. Use this adapter and everything should work. Okay, let me show you how I did the adapter. Okay, making the adapter plates for the headlights. So this is the adapter plate. I didn't do a good job, but I'll try better for the next one. That's my first try. So just press in. Now with pressing and turning, this fits perfectly. The good thing is this rubber here, rubber sealing, goes inside of this groove. And what I used is just a cap. These seem to be standard size, and a Dremel. Just place the Dremel here and make a circle which removes the center thingy. Looks like that. Then there's a dot in the middle of the cap. See that thing? That's the middle of the cap. You drill a hole in here big enough for this thing to actually be able to turn it, place it and turn it. Then just mark, where's the drilled one? Yeah, just mark where these should go, drill them again with this, and you're good to go. So I ended up in the end gluing it, because the idea with the mounting tape didn't work at all. Just it doesn't have enough surface. I used silicone, which is removable. It's not actually meant for gluing. This is the silicone. It has high temperature range, and I've already tested it for like, I don't know, probably 2 years. Here, this one is actually, come on, focus. It's actually glued with this silicone. It has driven few thousand kilometers. There were few car washes, and it's still there. So I believe it's good. This one has cured, and it's actually 3 days old now, and the wife has been driven like that. It looks good. If you look here, it looks good. This one is still curing. I just did it. You can see the silicone from here, but once you place the bulb, you cannot see anything. Other than that, I have spliced into the cables. I've isolated this one with self-vulcanizing tape. And I also did the daytime running light cable, which goes like that, like that. You can see it there. Then here on this spot. Here I have used this one and this one, and then it goes inside, and this one actually goes here to this light bulb. Okay, I think it's time to try to make the manual turning on of the DRL. Okay, now that we have the cable here, everything is set up under the hood. We need to do the manual. First the manually to see if everything works. Before that though, we need to find the spot where these will sit. Now, there seems to be some sort of connector here, which is not used, factory connector, and this plank is missing stuff. I don't know if, not if, apparently that's used in some cars. I don't know what's there, but here it's missing, so I'm going to take its place. My idea is the following. I've made this adapter. This one I bought here, which will leave me with this hole here, and then with these clips, 2 of them, which are easy to remove and operate with, I'm going to actually hold the relay like that, and this one would actually be like that on this adapter plate. Okay, let me place them so I can show you from beneath how much space there is when the glove box is actually closed. Okay, that's how it looks like. Pretty convenient access. The only problem with this is these are actually touching. They're touching each other. So I'll have to add some material here so they don't wobble like that. Okay, now grab this. Let's see. So here it's on. One hand job, not easy. Did I place it properly? I believe so. Okay. This is closed. Now we go beneath so I can show you. As you can see, there is quite a lot of space. Let me... So this is the glove box. I'll try to open it actually. See? It finishes just where the metal part is, because the metal part is actually factory and it used to hold something else, so it's good. I don't know if you can focus. There's plenty of space, even if you have a module here, there's plenty of space to add the module somewhere here and the relay. Okay, now we can proceed with actually adding the manual function. Okay, let's figure out the auto position at which pin goes out. I already figured it out, but of course I give you the most information I can. Here I have documentation about, maybe I should turn off the torch so it's a little bit better to see. That's the documentation about the headlight switch. Now this is only for the headlights, and as you know, this one also has the turn lights in it, and that's why you do not see all of the wires used here. The interesting part though is we have the colors here of the connector depending on which side your switch is. We are on the left side. The switch is on the left side, because you could have a car which is right hand drive car and have the switch on either side. Mine is left side, so this is original switch from Mazda 2 which has the auto function. Now the schematics do not show the auto because these are from facelift in Australia. Apparently in the Australia region there's no auto. That's why this doesn't have auto, but I've discovered something very interesting. So all of these colors match the colors on my car, and you can see at the end there are 2 empty spots. So let's turn on the torch now. If you come here and take a closer look, you can see all of them are here, and on the other side there's one missing. Maybe I should try a different angle. No, it's not happening. So you can see here we have only one hole. The other one is actually taken by a cable, not 2. So that's what I did. I decided that's actually the cable for the auto, and based on this the ground uses this black and orange cable, and the black and orange is right here at the bottom, and diagonally to it, which is empty here, in our case it's not empty, so I just squeeze those here. And now, sorry about my pants, these are my working pants. Now when I do auto, come on, when I do auto, you can hear it has a contact. Now we move out of auto, no longer contact. So no contact, only when in auto there is contact, so it passes ground. So that's exactly what we need to make things happen, which means this cable here, which is pure white cable, looks like pure white cable, no, nothing else on it, pure white cable, should be going already towards the BCM, because the BCM controls the headlights on the smarter model, 1.5 liter with auto headlights. So I'm going to go there and find where this cable goes. Okay, so I have found the white cable. So that's the white cable that's coming from the auto pin of the headlight switch, and it's this hole right here. You can see the hole here. It's the 7th in this row, which is not from the clip side. That's the clip, not from the clip side, the 7th one, and the connector is here. That's where it says white. Now I have removed this one because the electronics I did expects ground. I have a protection for everything else, but still I'm not quite sure if the BCM will like what I do, or vice versa, so I just removed it. I haven't cut it, as you can see. You can always place it back. I just removed it. To remove it, you need a screwdriver, like tiny screwdriver. This one did all the work. There are two holes here and here which pop this whole thing, and then you turn it around, and inside you can see security pins that need to be lifted. You lift and pull, and it goes out. So now let me show you. It's the proper wire. I connect the multimeter. Positive, negative goes to ground. And now, when I do that, so I do auto, and it's auto. I continue. You cannot see what lights because this has I have disconnected the whole thing there. So only auto works. Okay, wiring for the manual part as well as wiring of the relay for the automatic. You will need to grab from this white connector right here. There is one cable which is green with black. That's from the little connectors, not these big ones. The little connectors. When you're looking at it like that, bottom right. That's your ignition wire. So you need to grab that wire and shove it in both on the coil. You can see I have twisted the two cables, both on the coil and as a source that is going to go towards the light bulbs, the DRL. The ground you grab from the cable I showed you earlier, which is from the auto position, goes to the other side of the coil, and the exit, so when there is a contact, this is going to be transferred to here, goes towards the light bulbs. That simple. When we are adding the automatic part, of course, the change will be the ground. It's not going to go directly to the relay. It's actually going to go to the new logic, to the automatic logic, and the automatic logic is going to supply the ground to here. So let me demonstrate you the manual part. Now it's at off position. I turn ignition to on. Okay. Come here. As you can see, nothing. So now we come here and we tap auto, and you can see this is the DRL, quite bright. Then I can turn light, so you can see the DRL switching to turn light, and not hyper flashing when I turn it off. Now it goes back to DRL. Then you have TNS, which is on the sides here. Then you have the headlights. All of them are without DRL. This is the DRL part only. And of course, if I turn off the ignition, they're going to go back off, which is the beauty. Okay, time to actually wire up the automatic part. Okay, I have found all the signals required. So here we have 10 cables. I already showed you how to grab the ignition and how to get the auto pin signal, and this is the control wire for the DRL relay. So these are the 3 signals out of the 10 required. 2 of these cables will go towards the sensor we are going to mount somewhere here. 5 remaining. 2 of those 5 are for power, so we need constant power and constant ground. Then out of the 3 remaining, 2 are again signals from the switch. We need the switch for TNS position and for the low beams. And the remaining 1 is for unlock signal, door unlock. So all of those you will find on those 4 connectors. I'm going to show you here visually and then go to the documentation so you can see it in the documentation as well. Okay, from here you can already see this has been spliced. This is red with black cable which goes in the middle of the 3. On the top side this sits like that. So top side, middle cable, red with black. This cable is going through the hazards fuse, and it's constant 12 volts. It's been spliced by the guys which mounted the alarm system. So that's the constant power. The constant ground they again spliced in here. Interestingly, this wire doesn't exist on the documentation, but there is a, see that bluish wire here, blue with black, that wire here, blue with black. That wire from this side looks almost pure blue, pure black. That wire right here, according to the documentation, is pure ground. Now I have tested, they are both pure ground. I'm going to use this one since it's already spliced. So this covers the first 2 things, getting the ground and power. Now from here, on this where the auto is, logically all cables, they're grouping cables, not all, but since the auto is here, the other 2 we require from the same switch are on the same connector. Logic. This brown here with white, brown with white. So not from the side of the clip. If you count from right to left, this is the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th cable, right next to the hole that we made for, because we pulled out this white for the auto. So this brown with white is actually the TNS. We need to tap into this one. Then from the other side, if you turn it around, there is barely visible violet with white. This is the most hidden one out of the whole row, violet with white. If we count looking it like that from the right again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, 5th from both sides when looking at the connector. This is for the low beams. Pass ground here and low beams will activate. Pass ground to this one and TNS is going to get activated. So this covers those 2. And the last one is in this connector. This is the unlock signal, and the proper wire is this red with black at the top. So looking it like that, it's the top right. When it's in place like that, it's the top again, but left. The red with black, that's the proper cable. Okay, so now let's do the documentation. Of course, let's turn off the torch. Okay, documentation. As I said, from here we are going to use the one that's on the hazards. Since this is the one that's spliced, you can use any of those, but red with black cable goes towards the BCM, and it comes here. As you can see, these are the wires that are going from the battery, and red with black is this one. We are splicing into this one. Then we go to next step, this is inputs from the switch, headlight switch. You can see the violet with white is actually directly connected to the headlight relay. So this is exactly what we need to control directly the relay, and we go through this wire. Same goes with the TNS, brown with violet. It goes, as you can see, there is a wire like that, and goes it's actually going to there, which goes to the relay for the TNS, which controls lots of circuits. This is how it looks like, how we know that brown with white is TNS, there it is, and how we know that violet with white is low beams, there it is. And the last one is the unlock signal. Now, as you can see, did I skip a step? Maybe I should go back to here so it's more interesting. Yes, those two wires, that's the schematics how it works, regardless if it's advanced entry with all the fancy schmancy stuff or simple model like this one. As you can see, it covers both 1B and 2E. In the end, it works exactly the same. You have constant ground here and here, which is constantly being passed on those two wires, and those two wires are actually going from the two sides of the motor, from here and here. So the motor is constantly being supplied with two grounds. Whenever you want to unlock or lock one of the two corresponding relays, switches that ground from ground to 12 volts. So now the motor will have from one side ground, from the other side 12 volts, depending on do you want to lock it or unlock it. So what you need to do is actually measure which one gets the 12 volts when you're unlocking, because we need the unlock signal, and that's the red with black. This one, this wire gets 12 volts when we're unlocking the door. So we splice into this one and we're ready. Okay, so it's time to actually do all the soldering. Okay, everything here is done, except those two wires, which are going to go for the sensor. But the logic will work even without a sensor. It's just going to think it's pitch black outside, which is fine. We want to test if everything is working. Now, what we are going to do is actually, we're going to start the car. Of course, I already tested. Start the car. Voltage will rise in a bit because I already tested and I adjusted the voltage. Yep, here we go. Voltage is down, up, so it starts the headlights. I adjusted the voltage, gave it 5 steps down from the default one, which is in the 6 to 6. Probably this generator is smarter because it has a current sensor. Now, unfortunately, we cannot simply test the DRL if it's working. I can enter the procedure here, the test procedure, but it will be too long. So let me show you that the unlock signal is also working. When I turn off the car, these stay. The default for coming home is auto, and because it thinks it's actually pitch black outside, it doesn't turn off the headlights. It will leave them on for 30 seconds. In the meantime, you exit, you go wherever you want to go, and they keep your path lit. And now when they actually go, I'll actually even lock the car. So locking the car doesn't activate anything, but then unlocking the car, because it thinks it's pitch black outside, it actually turns on the headlights. And keep in mind, these are only headlights without TNS. The idea is not to beep when you open your door. because it's beeping otherwise. If you open the driver's side door and you have TNS on, it will beep. This will not beep, and in a bit this will go off. Okay, let's now figure out how we are going to place the sensor. I'm thinking here, but there is airbag, so we'll see where we'll place the sensor. That's the final step here. And that's the location of the sensor. It's visible. It's not like on the 626, but the 626 actually has here space at the top so you can hide it. This one does not. This is straight edge and it's not possible, so I decided to be there. Might not be the best point because you can throw something and cover it. Maybe somewhere up will be better, but I already drilled it. Now the issue here with removing it, so this is the side airbag, is this pin. You have to reach beneath and just twist it like that, so it releases the plastic. Now the plastic, let me show you how I made this. I made it in the same manner as the 626. So there will be of course wires, but the whole thing is easy to disassemble. You pull this. Here will be the wires from the two sides, here and here. So this will be part of the cable. You pull it and you can easily remove your A-pillar. If you want to change this, you have to strengthen these legs. If I can do it, of course, with one hand. Okay. One down, two down. And you pull this one out. So that's the plastic. And then, as you can see, you just remove the sensor and place a new one if that crops out. There are just two holes here, and that's pretty much it. Let's now actually pull wire from there to here. It shouldn't be that hard, and show you the final result. Okay, final result. That's my torch, because we are going to test the sensor. Everything is assembled. Sensor is here. And now, if I start the car without the torch pointing at it, once the voltage picks up, we have the low beams. Now if I place here this, sorry, it fell, goes to DRL. The light bulbs are a little bit slow. Once they go on, they have a little bit of time waiting, while the high beams no. But when going to DRL, there is a little bit of delay, which is not a problem. Anyhow, if the logic decides there is it's bright enough, you don't care there is such a delay. And let me demonstrate you now. If I turn off the engine, this thing directly turns off because it's actually really bright. And if I unlock the car, it doesn't actually turn on. If I remove this and now I unlock the car, here we go, the way it's supposed to work. Okay, that's all. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit subscribe. I'll be posting more videos soon. Bye bye.